she get quiet after. We're gonna let you for so long.
You guys want to do one more?
Yes.
Okay. This is a new one. 15 helped us survive.
15 helped us survive.
Now we need 20 to thrive.
Now we need 20 to thrive.
15 helped us survive.
15 helped us survive.
Now we need 20 to thrive.
Now we need 20 to thrive.
What time is it?
What time is it?
Time for 20.
Time for 20.
What time is it?
What time for 20?
Mix it up. What time is it?
What time is it?
Time for 20. I say what time is it? You say time for 20.
There you go.
What time is it?
Time for 20.
What time is it?
Time for 20.
What time is it?
Time for 20.
All right, let's try it again. We'll say what time is it? You say union time. Okay? So I'll say what time is it? You say union time. Can we fill in the middle?
All right, everybody. I think that we might be going. Oh, we have a mic. We could have been changing into the mic the whole entire time. But no, thank you all so much to be here. I am proud. It is my honor to be here today with you all, with these union workers. Please give yourselves a round of applause. And we want to put that emphasis on this because we know that these workers, these union workers, have been in the trenches for us. We talk about the pandemic, but we know that it's been before and after and during the pandemic. These were the workers who got our region and carried us through that crisis. These are the workers who have been driving our economy, the most dominant industry that we have in Western Pennsylvania. They're the workers who are going to lift this region into the middle class. So without further ado, let's hear directly from these workers today. So I'm going to bring up Armand, and he's going to kick us off, and then we're going to go over to Brother Arion, but let's go there. Woo, woo!
Good afternoon, everybody. I said good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Like she said, my name's Armand Sam. Before I begin, I want to thank Pastor Worth for allowing us to use the space for our meetings and continuing forward as we begin these negotiations. We really do appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts. Once again, my name is Armand Sam. I'm a patient care tech at Allegheny General, and I'm also a nursing student. I'm also part of the union negotiating committee, as you can tell. Towards the end of 2020, when this country was gripped by one of the worst pandemics in the history of mankind, I was living in New York City, working at a corporate job, completely mortified with what was happening around me, but oblivious to what was happening in the hospitals. Then COVID hit, and a lot of people lost their lives, including my best friend at the age of 24, Colton Brown. It was one of the most challenging points in my life, and I thought about my parents who both worked in healthcare, and what they always said when I was growing up, which was the best way to honor somebody is to continue to serve them. So I decided to leave my corporate job, and I went to the front lines of the worst healthcare crisis in our generation. And it was not easy, but I was very, very proud to do it, and I'm still very proud of what I do. Because that's how you can make the most difference for people like my Colton. I love working at AGH, and I take very much pride in what I do. And I treat my patients like family or friends. And I see Colton in every single stretcher and every single bed. Everyone deserves to know that everyone deserves that type of treatment, and that's what we strive to do. The opportunity to make somebody's life a little bit better is what keeps me going and keeps what a lot of us going. Unfortunately, short staffing makes it difficult to provide that type of care that I signed up to provide. It's typical for me to take care of between 20 and 30 patients by myself, and we are often doing this with the jobs of several people at the same time. We desperately need more staff. That's the biggest issue that we have right now. And in order to do that, we need to increase pay and make it more acceptable to a living wage. A lot of new hires are difficult to find, and workers who take a job here frequently get burned out and end up leaving. We need immediate action to address the staffing crisis, and that's why we here are here to demand $20 an hour and up for all HGH workers and for other healthcare workers in our region. This major investment in pay we're asking for is the only way to continue to provide dedicated caregivers at the bedside that we desperately need, that the nurses also need. We know it works, and just last fall, this union was able to get nurses at our hospital on market-leading contract with an average 23% raise and a $9 increase over the life of the contract itself. As a result, we're seeing more and more nurses apply and take jobs here, and far fewer nurses leave. And we can do the exact same thing for other essential jobs at the hospital, like establish a real living wage of 20 and up. You can ask people behind me that $16, $17 an hour is not enough for a single person to live on in this city, let alone support a family like many of us are trying to do. And it's no wonder why people can't stay. I'm only able to make it work because I am blessed to have a tremendous support system, but I think about the people behind me who may not have that privilege. It makes me upset that there's a food pantry at the hospital for employees. Nobody who works for a multi-billion-dollar health or care giant like AHN or UPMC should ever have to worry about buying food or paying bills.
Preach.
If you work in healthcare and dedicate your life to caring for others in this community, you should care for yourself. Working in a flagship hospital such as AGH should be a path to the middle class. And it should allow you to put kids through high school, through college, own a home, plan for retirement, and actually live. Those things are simply not possible for many of my coworkers on the wages that AGH pays right now. AHN recently announced plans to raise the minimum wage to 18 an hour, and while I do appreciate that notion, it's not enough. It's time for 20 and up. Amen. Because by raising the bottom to 20, we can push everybody else up as well. And when we raise wages in the most dominant industry in this region, we pull the rest of our region's economy with us. 20 and up is how we rebuild the middle class in Pittsburgh and make it truly the most livable city for the workers that run it. AGH union members were at the forefront of the fight for 15, which led to historic progress for some of our country's most overlooked workers. Now we're back again, and we're stronger than ever because we're united with our brothers and sisters at Allegheny Valley, Washington, and Frick hospitals to win 20 and up for all of southwestern Pennsylvania. Thank you. Another colleague as well, Ms. Lauren.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lauren Domino, and I'm a patient care tech at Allegheny Valley Hospital. I'm proud to stand here in solidarity with AGH in Washington and Frick union members as we head into negotiations to win 20 and up for all hospital workers in our region. In the last year, we've seen union members in Pittsburgh and across the country stand up to massive corporations and win historic contracts. The AGH nurses, the United Auto Workers strike at the big three auto companies, our fellow SEIU union members on strike at Kaiser, the companies, or the Teamsters and UPS, the actors and the writers in Hollywood, and many more. They've shown the power of what's possible when we all stand together. Now hospital workers are going to do the same in southwestern PA. We're going to stand together, negotiate together, and if necessary, take action to win $20 and up for our hospitals and rebuild the middle class in our region. Working people are struggling in this economy. I am a working mom trying to support a family. My kids and I are grateful to have a home in a walkable community in the Pittsburgh area. But despite working at a hospital owned by a multi-billion-dollar corporation, I am still not able to afford health insurance for my family. And most of the time, I don't have money left over after paying for groceries and housing costs to afford the home repairs we need, much less for college tuition or pay for a vacation with my kids. It's a struggle at work too. I'm on night shift, which means I work alone with 25 or more patients because we don't have enough people to cover the shifts. Sometimes there's no patient care tech on the floor. $20 and up is being able to hire enough staff to reduce the workload on healthcare providers so we can provide our neighbors with high quality care. 20 and up is about every hospital worker having a path to the middle class. I want a future where I'm able to fix up my home and take my girls on a vacation. I want to live in a city that values my work and the work of my coworkers. I believe in that future. It is possible. Our largest healthcare institutions need to lead the way. I'm excited to be here with everybody fighting for a future that works for all of us. We are worth $20 and up.
Hello everyone, my name is Melissa Duran. I am an EKG tech and a union chapter president at Washington Hospital. Our hospital is one of the last remaining independent community hospitals in our region. Everybody knows everybody down there. I've worked there for over 13 years and now my daughter's there too. It works like a family. We feel like a family. Sorry. That might all change now that UPMC is trying to take over our hospital. Just like they've done so many other hospitals and communities around Pennsylvania. I can't say I'm surprised. It seems like that's what all these big nonprofit hospital corporations want to do. Keep getting bigger and taking over more stuff and making more money for the executives and not us. Of course, it hasn't gone exactly to plan. UPMC down in Washington. Thank you. Of course, it hasn't gone to plan. UPMC down in Washington, they didn't expect us to push back, and we pushed. Workers, community members, and patients, elected officials. A lot of us have raised concerns with the regulators about how UPMC's expansion has been shown to drive down wages. It's sickening. And staffing levels where they are too much to control. That's why I'm here today. If hospital corporations are going to get bigger, we have to get bigger too. By standing together and taking action across our hospitals and across all of our regions. I'm proud to say that Washington's union members will be right alongside of AGH, AVH, and FRIC to demand 20 and up for every hospital worker in our region. In my case, I already make 20 more an hour, but I support the 20 and up. I all started where you guys did. I was there, raising 2 kids with no income. Because if we raise from the bottom, everyone goes up. I need that just as much as the next person. I'd love to go back to school to get my RN, but raising 2 kids, managing a household, keeping cars on the road, and my oldest college education, there's nothing left for me. It's a shame that low wages are holding healthcare workers back from pursuing our dreams to make our lives and family better. It's that way because big hospital corporations like AHM and UPMC have too much power. But we're gonna change that by standing together as union members across our facilities in negotiations and by the building alliance with patients and community leaders to protect care in our communities. We stand together.
Good afternoon. My name is Ariane Adney. I have the honor and the privilege of being able to represent all of my neighbors of the 19th Legislative State House District, which includes where we are here today in Central Northside. I also want to take the opportunity to recognize my colleague, State Representative Nick Piscatano, who is here today, our delegation chairman for Allegheny County. Thank you for being here, Mr. Chairman. And I want to thank all the workers who are here today. Not only for being here to advocate on behalf of themselves and on behalf of all of their colleagues, but really for what they do day in and day out to ensure that our hospitals are safe, to ensure that our hospitals are functioning, to ensure that they are professional spaces so that people like myself and my family can have a positive experience when I go there. So there is this saying that I really like by a gentleman. His name is Brian Stevenson. He is the executive director of the Equal Justice Initiative. And when I heard him speak, he said that poverty is not the opposite of wealth. Poverty, in fact, is the opposite of justice. And so it's a really thought-provoking thing to say. And every time I hear it, I think poverty is not simply about being a low-wage worker or even being a non-wage worker. Poverty is really more about the social condition of having a lack of access and our social condition of having a lack of opportunities, not being properly invested in, feeling as if you are devalued or you are defavored in our society. And what justice seeks to do in those situations is it seeks to flip that lack of access to opportunities on its head. And when I think about justice, I think about it really is a litmus test and is a measuring stick for whether or how well we are doing or how well we are not doing as a society. And we are, as a society, in this feels like a constant fight and push and an urge for generational justice, right? Generational justice that crosses every aspect of race, class, gender, and religion. And so when I hear workers stand up here and tell you that they provide more service than what they are paid for, that they are fighting for $20 an hour, I don't hear that they are fighting to become wealthy. I hear that they are fighting for justice and for what they deserve. And so these are real people. These are real people with real lives. These are mothers and fathers and parents and guardians who have children that they have to support. These are sons and daughters themselves or children of an aging population with parents that they have to take care of. These are individuals who are fighting for the dignity and the respect that they deserve. Real people with real lived experiences, with real stories that they can tell you about how they've had a lack of access to opportunities. And so as a society, what we can no longer continue to do is to treat real people as if they are some kind of walking agent stuck inside of a matrix. We need to unplug out of this thought process that we can continue to underpay and undervalue our workforce. Just because it's the way that it has been for so long doesn't mean it's the way that it has to be going forward. And so they have a real opportunity in front of them as they head into their contract negotiations to be able to change the realities of struggle for themselves and their 1,800 or so colleagues across the 4 hospital networks, and to move themselves beyond their current conditions and to get the justice that they deserve. And so I stand with all the workers who are here today and all of their colleagues, my colleagues in the House, stand with them as well. And we are here to fight with you in solidarity to ensure that you get that justice that you deserve. So thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm back before you. again to each of our speakers today who shared their stories, shared their dreams and their concerns. Thank you, of course, to my state level colleague, Ariana Edney, to Nick Pescatano, our delegation chair. I'm Summer Lee, and I am the congressional representative for all of these workers. We've been having this conversation in various sectors around the country about what workers deserve and what workers should do to get that which they deserve. But to put this in perspective, as we talk and we spend time with these, our healthcare heroes, I ask us to remember that we're 4 years from the beginning of the pandemic. And we all recall how dystopian and frightening that time was, particularly in Pittsburgh. For those folks, for those of us who have family members who are healthcare workers, we remember the anxiety and the fear that we had as we sent our loved ones off to work another shift or two, or especially in the beginning days when we didn't know what quarantines may look like, maybe even longer. The fear that they had as they walked out of their workplaces and came back to their families and their loved ones, perhaps bringing with them a deadly virus, but they went anyways. And if you recall those days, the early days of our pandemic, we used to watch on the news as they would clap after the end of shifts for the workers who had come out. We would cheer them on, but we would also recognize that they were still underpaid. That in those days, even still, they were working with in conditions that were untenable for workers. They were working without a living wage, some of them even without the basic protections that they needed to do. What these workers are here today to demand, as Ariana Edney said, is simply justice. They're here to say that those people who keep not just our cognitive health, because that's precisely what they do here in Western Pennsylvania, where the dominant economy is our healthcare system. They keep our economy afloat, but they also keep our families and our community afloat. These are the workers who shift after shift care for our most vulnerable. They care for our loved ones and ourselves and each other. And what we're here to demand is that their employer care for them. That they show the basic care for our workers who have made it on the line for our community by giving them the basic dignities that they deserve of their job. A living wage that is 20 and up, because we recognize that even 20 is not enough sometimes for each worker. We recognize that if you are a healthcare hero in our community, that you should never worry about ending your shift and wondering how you will put food on the table. You should not worry if you are a healthcare hero in Western Pennsylvania how you will get to that shift. Because you can't afford the transportation, or because we have not invested in our infrastructure that you can even get from your communities, your housing that may be affordable or unaffordable in communities that are far away to your workplace. We should ensure that every single worker here who takes care of our community and our economy can afford child care for their families, that they can afford the medicines that they need to take care of themselves, that they can afford to pay off their loans if they got an education, but that they should be able to afford to live with dignity in any area in this district and in this community. That's what we're here asking for. And I'm here as a congressional rep to say that as they go into their contract negotiations, that they will not be alone. That they will be joined by our congressional and our state delegations. They will be joined by our political leaders who will stand with them for their right to a union, for their right to living wages, for their rights to their benefit, and for their rights to take a stand for not just themselves, but for every worker in our region. Because we know that when we stand with our union workers, that we're standing for each and every one of us. So it's my honor to be here today with you all. It's my honor, even if I don't walk in there physically with you, to be here with you as you fight for that which you deserve, and that we will continue to stand with you. We will continue to stand with the union in this negotiation and the next and the one after that, because that's what it means for Pittsburgh to be a union town. So thank you all so much for being here. Thank you so much for taking this stand. This is what you deserve. We're not asking for anything that we don't deserve, and what we're here to say is that if our corporations can make a profit off our workers, then our workers should go with everything that